This is the Sauquoit Creek. This is the site of the Halloween floods where absolute mayhem happened. I'm standing here today because this is significant right now. This represents to me something that these residents absolutely never want to see again. It's something they think about now every single time it rains. The floods that happened in 2019 were insurmountable, and literally the creek came up onto this patch of grass and just used Brookline Drive and this entire patch of houses as the path of the Sauquoit Creek. The Sauquoit Creek Basin Intermunicipal Commission presented a study that will be made public around the time this video is released. Having a complete analysis of the upper Sauquoit Creek is exactly what we're going to need as we move into the future and take action. I was literally standing here before it came over, and I had to watch people evacuate from their homes, their possessions, and as a mayor, I want to make sure that we could take some kind of real, tangible action to not only make this better for future generations, but for the residents that are here, so they can actively know that something is being done to protect them in some shape or form from an event like that happening again. Now, funny thing about weather is it happens, right? We had a disaster in 2019, and it's bound to happen again. Weather's been changing all over the world. Patterns have been changing all over the world. One thing that's known is that this creek is going to rise again, and it's a potential problem waiting to happen. As a mayor, I want to make sure we can do everything we can to make sure that if something does happen, we're going to reduce those effects. You can't predict an act of God, but as a municipality and at the county level, municipalities working together, we can make sure that in the future, our changing weather patterns actually can be dealt with. Within the city, we've taken a lot of different actions over the last 8 years to make sure that stormwater mitigation is effectively working, that stormwater mitigation can be expanded in different areas. This is just a unique situation here where we had a disaster in 2019, and up until now there has been no action. One interesting thing in Utica, and you could just come down here and look at it as a resident, is it is shallower here. There isn't as much depth. If you go downstream, it gets deeper. I remember being in this creek, hanging out and walking this creek when I was a kid. And guess what? It was deeper. There wasn't as much silt. There weren't as many trees. So as much as we have to say climate is changing, we might have more storms, we also have to recognize the fact that this is not the same creek bed right now. This is not the same structure, and we do need to say, okay, DEC, okay, state, okay, county, maybe the solution is we do have to dredge. Maybe we do have to remove that, pile of silt that butts up against Richardson Ave. There are solutions we can ask for. I'm not a civil engineer, but I can stand here and say, these are potential solutions I've seen work elsewhere. Why aren't we at least saying, will they work? That's one thing I want to see out of that study, but as mayor in 2024, I'm going to say, look, if we have 3 solutions, what's the most probable? How can we fund it? Are we working with state? Are we working with federal? Are we working with the county? And we need to come up with a solution. I want to see flow analysis studies. I hope that's in that study. I want to see depth studies. But I would also like to see, similar to what USGS does in some of our canals, in Hinkley Reservoir, I want certain points throughout our municipality to have depth monitor, capabilities, so that when we have a weather event, we can actually see where the water rises and where it goes down. We can see how fast the water is flowing. Not just like, let's do a study, let's write it down and be done. I want that to be real time and permanent. I referenced the study. Now, my anticipation is that that study is going to say potential solutions are cleanouts, actual bench work, actually working and dredging out either portions, doing more depth analysis to fix the actual problem. Mm-hmm. I'm standing here today as a mayoral candidate because after 2019, I re-walked the creek and said, this looks like a solvable problem. Why aren't we just saying, let's get it done? We need to take action before something happens again. What needs to be understood about this neighborhood is if you're not from here and you didn't experience what happened in 2019, you just listen to the creek. Sounds peaceful. It's nice. But when it rains, they're nervous and they're concerned. And I understand exactly how they feel. And I understand why there's so much angst and they want action. That's why we need to do something. That is the purpose of government in this type of instance.